The Ku Klux Klan, KKK, is one of the most notorious and malevolent organizations in American history. Emerging as a violent response to the social upheaval following the Civil War, the Klan has been characterized by its white supremacist ideology and campaigns of terror, intimidation, and violence against African Americans and other marginalized groups. With roots that intertwine deeply with America's struggles over race, citizenship, and democracy, the Klan has evolved through multiple eras, each marked by its own tactics, beliefs, and socio-political contexts. This exploration delves into the origins, historical transformations, and lasting impact of the Klan, revealing its complex legacy in the American narrative of hate and resistance. The KKK was founded in December 1865 in Pulaski, Tennessee, by a group of 6 former Confederate soldiers, including Nathan Bedford Forrest, who would later become its first Grand Wizard. Initially formed as a social club, the organization quickly morphed into a violent vigilante group intent on maintaining white supremacy in the Reconstruction South. As the federal government attempted to integrate formerly enslaved people into society with new rights and protections, the Klan became a powerful force opposing these changes. During the Reconstruction era, 1865 to 1877, the Klan employed brutal tactics to suppress black political participation and maintain the social order established during slavery. Klansmen conducted midnight raids on black homes, used lynching as a method of social control, and instilled fear in both black communities and their white allies. They targeted those who advocated for civil rights or who participated in the political process, such as black leaders and Republican politicians. The Klan's violent actions were not just individual acts of terror, but were often carried out in organized groups, reflecting a broader cultural commitment to white supremacy. The Klan's methods included whipping, murder, and arson, and they often went unpunished by local authorities, many of whom were complicit in their actions. This violence was legitimized through a rhetoric that portrayed black citizens as a threat to the social order and white womanhood. The Klan operated under the guise of restoring and protecting law and order, but their actual intent was to intimidate and suppress any opposition to their vision of a racially segregated society. The federal government recognized the need to combat Klan violence and passed the Enforcement Acts of 1870 and 1871, which made it a federal crime to interfere with a person's right to vote and authorized the use of federal troops to suppress Klan violence. While these efforts temporarily curtailed Klan activities, the group's influence persisted, and it remained a potent symbol of white supremacy throughout the South. The Klan underwent a dramatic revival in the early 20th century, spurred by social changes such as immigration, urbanization, and the cultural upheaval of the Progressive Era. In 1915, the Klan was re-established in Georgia by William J. Simmons, who aimed to restore its earlier prominence. This resurgence coincided with the release of D.W. Griffith's film, The Birth of a Nation, which romanticized the Klan's role during Reconstruction and portrayed them as heroic defenders of white Southern society. The film played a significant role in shaping public perceptions of the Klan and contributed to its renewed popularity. Unlike its original form, the Klan of the 1920s targeted not only African Americans, but also immigrants, Jews, Catholics, and other perceived threats to the American way of life. They positioned themselves as defenders of American values against the influences of modernity and diversity. This new Klan emphasized a quasi-religious ideology, viewing itself as a moral guardian of true American culture. The Klan's membership exploded during this period, with estimates suggesting that it reached between 3 to 6 million members nationwide at its peak in the mid-1920s. The organization utilized mass rallies, parades, and local chapters to recruit members and spread its ideology. Klan parades through cities showcased their numbers and organized structure, with participants dressed in full regalia, burning crosses, and marching to the cheers of supportive onlookers. The Klan became a significant political force during this era, exerting influence over local and state elections. Many Klan-affiliated candidates won positions in state legislatures and, in some cases, even governors. Their presence in politics allowed them to promote legislation that enforced segregation and restricted the rights of minorities. The Klan's ability to blend into mainstream society and exert political power made it a formidable opponent for civil rights advocates. The Klan's resurgence also marked an increase in violence, as it engaged in widespread acts of terror against communities of color and those who opposed their agenda. The Klan bombed black churches, lynched individuals accused of crimes against whites, and physically assaulted those who challenged their authority. The 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre, while not directly attributed to the Klan, was fueled by similar racial animosities and demonstrated the lethal consequences of white supremacist ideologies. Despite its widespread influence, the Klan began to decline in the late 1920s due to internal corruption scandals, public backlash against its violent methods, and the economic downturn caused by the Great Depression. By the late 1930s, the Klan was largely disbanded, but its ideology remained embedded in certain factions of American society. The Klan resurfaced in the 1950s and 1960s in direct response to the civil rights movement, which aimed to dismantle segregation and promote equality for African Americans. As the civil rights movement gained momentum, the Klan once again resorted to violence and intimidation to maintain white supremacy and thwart the progress of civil rights. During this period, the Klan's tactics became even more brutal, with members engaging in acts of terrorism that included bombings, lynchings, and widespread violence. The Klan targeted civil rights activists, bombed black churches, and threatened anyone advocating for desegregation or voting rights. High-profile acts of violence, such as the murder of civil rights leader Medgar Evers in 1963 and the 16th Street Baptist Church bombing in Birmingham, Alabama, which killed 4 young girls, brought national attention to the Klan's actions and the broader issue of racial violence in America. As the federal government began to take more aggressive action against the Klan, including FBI investigations and civil rights legislation, the organization faced increased scrutiny. The passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965 marked significant victories for civil rights advocates, but they also incited a violent backlash from the Klan and other white supremacist groups. The Klan's membership decreased, but its ideology persisted, often merging with other extremist movements. While the KKK is no longer the powerful force it once was, small factions continue to exist and have adapted to contemporary social and political climates. The late 20th century saw the emergence of various splinter groups that draw on Klan ideology but often operate independently. These modern clans are typically fragmented and less influential, but they maintain a commitment to white supremacy and engage in hate crimes, rallies, and other forms of extremist activity. In the modern era, the Klan has often aligned itself with other far-right extremist groups, including neo-Nazis and militias. The rise of the internet and social media has allowed these groups to connect, share propaganda, and recruit new members more efficiently. Online platforms have enabled the spread of their ideologies, fostering a resurgence of white supremacist sentiments across the United States and beyond. Despite their diminished numbers, the Klan's legacy endures, often serving as a symbol of America's ongoing struggles with race and hate. Various organizations and individuals continue to combat the Klan's ideology, pushing back against hate through education, activism, and community organization. The Klan is often recognized by its distinctive white robes and hoods, which serve to conceal identities and foster a sense of anonymity among its members. This costume symbolizes the group's desire to intimidate and project a ghostly, otherworldly presence that evokes fear and conformity within communities. The act of burning crosses, one of the Klan's most infamous rituals, is intended as a symbol of their belief in white supremacy and as a means of terrorizing black citizens and other marginalized groups. This practice, which is often misinterpreted as a symbol of Christianity, serves instead as a violent reminder of their ideology. Klan gatherings are marked by rituals, including secret oaths and pledges of loyalty, which reinforce the group's commitment to its extremist beliefs. These ceremonies are rooted in a distorted interpretation of Christianity, framing their mission as divinely sanctioned and positioned against perceived threats to American values. The Klan's commitment to ritual and symbolism underscores its reliance on the performance of hate to assert its identity and beliefs. The legacy of the Ku Klux Klan is one of violence, racism, and unyielding terror. Its history is inextricably linked to the broader narrative of race relations in America, serving as a stark reminder of the consequences of unchecked hatred and intolerance. The Klan's campaigns of terror not only inflicted deep psychological and physical wounds on communities of color, but also shaped the political landscape, influencing legislation and public attitudes toward race and civil rights. While the Klan may no longer hold the power it once did, its ideologies have persisted, morphing and adapting to contemporary social issues. The Klan's history is not merely a relic of the past. It is a cautionary tale that continues to resonate today. As modern movements advocating for racial justice and equality seek to dismantle the structures of racism, the legacy of the Klan serves as a powerful reminder of the work that remains in confronting hate and intolerance. The Ku Klux Klan remains a symbol of America's struggle with race and hate, its legacy serving as both a reminder of the depths of human cruelty and a call to action for future generations. Understanding the Klan's history is crucial for recognizing the persistent challenges of racism and extremism in society. By examining its roots, transformations, and enduring influence, we confront the complexities of American history and the urgent need to address the legacies of hatred that still exist today.